is up, YouTube? It is Spurs Sick. Yes, I'm Kieran McDonald, your host, and today I have with me the wonderful, the talented, the up and coming Yid Kid.
Yeah.
Actually, a lot less up and coming than me because he's been doing this a while. Thanks for coming on again. I really appreciate having you here.
No problem. Thank you so much for inviting me. Absolute honor to be on the channel again.
All right, so you've been away for a little bit, but recently got back, and some Tottenham stuff has been happening. We were joking before the stream that you're kind of like the new Ali Gold. You went away for a week, and then everything started breaking. So I guess like the first place to start is Tottenham have officially made a signing. We've got our first guy holding the shirt. I know that'll make Bob Spur happy. Um, we've got Pierluigi Gollini, goalkeeper from Atalanta, and he is our first official signing of the summer. And if you had told me at the beginning of this transfer window that our first signing would be a goalkeeper, I wouldn't have believed you. That's for sure. I would have thought that's ridiculous, but here we are. What are your thoughts on it?
I don't know if you saw the video of when he was having his first speech in Tottenham. I found this very funny, but I was watching the video. My dad was in the front of the car, and he says he's all he could do is hear, right? And I was telling him, look, this is a new Spurs signing, and he hears it, and he thinks it's Zlatan Ibrahimovic because of his voice. Did you hear his voice?
Yeah.
It kind of sounds like Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of does a little bit. Um, I know Zlatan spent a lot of time in Italy. I mean,
Yeah,
he's technically Swedish, right? Well, he's
yeah, he
Swedish.
is.
He's a Swedish national, but like, I mean, with a name like Ibrahimovic, I don't think his family's from there originally. So I
That's
don't know.
Yeah, but when it comes to him, I think he's a fantastic signing. It's a great way to start off, hopefully, the run of transfers. But it's the start of the Don Paratici era, and I'm very excited to see the rest of the signings. Who else will come in? Who else will go? Hopefully, this is the start to the best. And I'm interested because, like, I really like this improvement from a Joe Hart because I was like every time a player would come up with the ball, not even in the box, like a meter away from the box, and I'd be like this on my chair, like, oh god, they're gonna score, because Joe Hart just gives me those that shiver down the spine. I'm very happy that he's gonna be the next Tottenham goalkeeper, and as we know, Hugo Lloris, his contract ends next season, so it's gonna be interesting to see if his little conference league displays and his maybe the FA Cup and Carabao Cup displays are gonna be enough to get him the starting position next season's hanging the gloves up. So I'd be very
Yeah.
interested to see that. But for now, I'm very excited to see how he does in the Conference League and in all those other competitions that he's going to play in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we can. I think we can definitely assume that he'll be getting a lot of time in the cups, especially the Europa Conference League, early stages, FA Cup, League Cup. He'll probably be starting almost all of those matches because, yeah, I don't think Alfie Whiteman is quite ready for that level of football yet. So I don't think he'd be getting in that time. But I guess the club at the same time do have to be careful because there is a clause within the loan contract that says if he plays 20 matches, then we have to purchase him. And one of the great things about the way this deal is structured is that they get to try before they buy, right? Spurs get to have a good look at Gollini and watch him um, at playing at a high level and see if they do think he is the right successor to Ugo Lloris. And we got Wayne Bonner here in the comments. Thanks for watching, Wayne Bonner. Also got Mark Swift. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. And Wayne says, "Do you think Galini will be a genuine rival for Ugo? So, like, as in this season, will he be one to compete with him for Premier League starting places? What do you think, you could?"
I think it's a way more. I don't know too much of a competition with Hugo, but he'll definitely be putting more of the pressure than Joe Hart. That's for sure. Joe Hart was just there for when Hugo was not. It was like there's no chance that you're gonna play Joe Hart ahead of Hugo. Now with him, he's young. The future is looking bright with him, so he could give Hugo Lloris a run for his money. But for now, I think Hugo obviously has to come on top for the best goalkeeper in the club. But he's one for the future, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, like we said, he'll get a lot of time in the cup competitions, but I don't see him directly challenging Ugo for starting in the Premier League. But you never know. I mean, he will. Hugo will feel that pressure behind him. That if he has a string of bad results, a string of bad games, this guy could come in and start taking some of his minutes. Definitely, like Yid Kid said, that's much more of a threat, much more of a competition than Joe Hart provided over the past season. Um, you can just go and look at some of Joe Hart's performances from when he did get in on the pitch, did get in the team, and yeah, it wasn't anything too too exciting. Nothing to write home about.
Hugo Lloris with a broken leg is better than a fit Joe Hart.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'd say that's probably true. At least especially with those low shots down to his left
Yeah.
as well. Uh, I saw Joe Hart practicing those in training at the beginning of the preseason training, and I was just like, that's probably 90% of what he does on the training pitch is just try and stop those
Wait,
shots over
but
and over again.
but Kieran, he put a video on Instagram of preseason training, and he stopped a shot that was going into the top corner. And I look in the comments, and everybody's like, "I don't know how you're not the first goalkeeper for Tottenham Hotspur." I was like, "These can't be Tottenham fans. These cannot be
No,
Tottenham fans." And there was people like,
no.
"Come back to City, Joe. We miss you." And I'm
Yeah,
like,
they're old City fans for
it's just
sure.
it's probably I know it's probably gonna be weird calling people young, but it's probably those like young people that all they care about is the saves to the top corner, the reflexes. Like I'm young,
Yeah,
obviously, but there's some kids that just they don't know what an actual good goalkeeper is. They see him
yeah.
block one shot to the top corner and they think he's that next David De Gea or something like that.
Absolutely. And so to talk a little bit about Gollini, so some highlights of him, of his abilities from what from what I've heard is he's a very good sweeper keeper. Can slot in to the back line, can come up and make challenges as he needs to. Comes for the ball. He's good with the ball at his feet, which is I think really good for us. That's something that Ugo Lloris definitely has struggled with under Pochettino when we were playing it out from the back a lot. He's not always the best under pressure with the ball at his feet. He's made mistakes, some pretty bad howlers before. I mean, you can't fault him too much because he's such an incredible keeper and so many other areas of his game, but that is a place where he struggled. And obviously, last season under Jose Mourinho, that wasn't something he had to do because we were sending it long every time from goal kicks. We weren't playing out of the back. Um, we saw him come into doing that a little bit again towards the end of last season with Ryan Mason at the helm, and I don't think he did terrible, but there were some moments where I certainly questioned his decision making um, in terms of his passing ability. What do you think about that, and how does that would that bring a new dynamic to our game with Gollini?
Well, something that I hear a lot of people say about Golini is the fact that Atlanta conceded a lot of goals last season, and we're about to sign their goalkeeper and their center back. Now, I think that's a little bit too much into the downside because I think what happens is what Atlanta do, they press too high, and then obviously they're going to get exposed in the back. That's just science. It's just not even. It's not even that they're bad players. But when it comes to Golini, I saw a little bit of Brazil scout, his highlights, and I've been a little bit impressed. Like when Atlanta played Madrid, he had a few good saves that I was watching. We're like, wow. And as you said, he is a good sweeper keeper, and I think with what you said there about Poch, Alistair the Gold the other said the day oh my god, Alistair the Gold the other day said that there's Poch vibes around the club. Now,
Mm,
if he's gonna be the future Hugo Lloris, and there's Poch vibes around the club, then this guy he could be the future of Tottenham Hotspur in between the sticks. But now, when you hear people saying that they conceded a lot of goals last season, I just think it's because they left too much space in the back gap in the back. I think it's just the lack of defending. But other than that, I think he's a phenomenal goalkeeper, and I think in the future, because everything when it comes to him, he's literally just the future. We signed him for the future, even though it's a loan. I'm sure he's gonna play more than 20 games in the Conference League.
Hmm.
and he's going to be end up being the Tottenham Hotspur goalkeeper. But either way, I think he's going to be signed. Even if he doesn't play 20 games, I'm pretty sure that he's one that we're looking forward to playing in the future, and that's why I think that right now I don't think he's going to be the number one goalkeeper, but in the future you look at it and he really really could.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I think that's a huge possibility. I'm gonna want to see more of him throughout the season. I think the idea is that yes, if he proves himself, he becomes the successor to Lloris. If he doesn't, then we're in trouble, and hopefully he does, so we can avoid that situation. The great thing about this signing is that we're bringing in a guy on loan, try before you buy. So when Hugo's contract ends next summer, we're not caught completely out in the cold with no goalkeeper. Every club knows we have no goalkeeper, and then suddenly every quality goalkeeper that would be available on the market, their price, nearly doubles for us because that's what clubs do when they know a club is desperate. And then us being Tottenham, we would go and sign a average or mediocre goalkeeper, and that would really hurt us in the following season. So we want to avoid that situation as much as possible. And I think Gollini provides the opportunity to do that if he can prove himself in this squad. And yeah, I think he's really promising. As Wayne Bonner says here, definitely looks good. He uses any part of his body to save, block the shot, which I love in a keeper. Yeah, from what I've seen, the highlights and some of the things I've seen from him, he's very acrobatic, very athletic for a goalkeeper. And it's funny because, he's 6'4", so he's pretty tall, and he doesn't necessarily look like a prime athlete, but he is very athletic. He can use any part of his body, his foot, his leg. I've seen him save stuff with his shins and off his thighs. He can use any part of his body to save, and he's really good at making himself big, especially when in those one-on-one situations. Um, he's really good at increasing the size of his body to decrease the amount of space the
And he's good at,
attacker has to shoot.
and
So,
he's good at saving penalties as well. I saw a penalty that he saved in the Serie A against Cristiano Ronaldo,
oh
which is
wow,
it was
yeah,
a phenomenal save. So honestly, I think it's a fantastic signing.
yeah. I think as a shot stopper, as a guy with the ball at his feet, I think he shows a lot of promise. The only downsides I've seen from him are his aggression. He is very aggressive, which means he tends to want to come out and chase balls down. He'll come for crosses aggressively, much more aggressively than Hugo Lloris. Although his success rate in claiming those crosses is not great. It's in the 50 to 60% range. So that's a little concerning. He can't be quite as aggressive in the Premier League. I think it's good that he's willing to come for crosses because that's something that I often get frustrated with Hugo Lloris, that he doesn't come and claim crosses that he certainly should. Um, he tries to be very safe and conservative about that. I think Gollini will take more risks, but does he have the skill to actually, you know,
Take the risk.
yeah, take them and for them to pay off? That's what I'm worried
Yeah.
about. So, but one of the great things about this young promising goalkeeper coming in is we have a former goalkeeper as a head coach and one of the best goalkeeping coaches in the world at Tottenham now as part of Nuno Espirito Santo's coaching team.
Yeah, and another thing is that he obviously in his first videos with the Spurs shirt, he said about having Hugo Lloris to learn from him. So to have one of the World Cup champion captain learning from him, that's just going to be a huge, huge plus for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's just shout out a few more people in the chat here. Audio Artisan, thanks for coming in. Thanks for watching. Says, if
Yep.
Burnley go down, would you take Nick Pope next summer?
I think I would,
Absolutely.
but
Absolutely.
the question is if pretty much if Burnley go down, how many teams do you think is going to be going for Nick Pope?
A lot.
Exactly. So you're
I,
going to be
I,
having, yeah.
I feel like there are a lot of clubs who have their goalkeeper situation settled right now, but
That's true.
but there will be clubs who will go in for him for sure. Um, some clubs could use a solid backup keeper, and To have Nick Pope as a backup would be really good. I could see, maybe like a Chelsea going in for him to be a backup to um
for
for
Mendy. For Mendy.
for Mendy. Thank you. Yes, I couldn't recall his name for a minute there. Yeah, so I could see something like that happening. But if one of the big clubs doesn't come in to try and tear him away to be a backup, then I think it's a good option, especially if Gollini doesn't work out. Like, say Gollini plays a lot of games in the cup competitions, maybe he, you know, makes a few errors and gets us knocked out of one of the competitions or something. You know, then I think Nick Pope is an excellent option to go for, and you can keep Gollini as a backup and one for the future. So we'll see what's happening. Reza Ali, thanks for watching. What's happening with Kunde? We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that
What
very
a
soon.
comment!
Eh,
I'm very excited to get to that
Yeah,
because
yeah, we are getting to Kunde, and we will get to Romero absolutely, and Tomiyasu. Although there is not a whole lot on the Tomiyasu front over the last few days.
I believe he got
Talk.
injured.
Yeah, he did get injured at the Olympics, but we'll get into that more. Talking ball. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it.
Is
Pope
that
won't
Tommy?
play.
Is that
No,
Tommy?
no. That would be Tommy Talksball. This is
Oh,
somebody else. But Pope won't play backup. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he would want to.
yeah.
But it's possible that I don't know if Chelsea comes calling, or is he going to say no? I feel like if he goes to Chelsea, there's an opportunity to overtake Benjamin Mendy there and become the starting goalkeeper. You know, I don't know. It's hard to say no when a big club like that comes in for you, but we'll see what happens. I mean, this is all speculation, and we're here to talk about the transfers that Tottenham are currently linked to. But yeah, we'll see. Wayne Bonner, Sam Johnson, yeah, definitely a quality keeper. Oh, we got Aaron Dove in the comments. What's up, man? Hey lads, let's talk about Inter Miami again. Yeah, your local MLS team is not great, my friend. Not great.
Big up Aaron Dub, by the way, though. Big up.
Yeah, big up, big time.
I
I
mean,
got
we're supposed to buy Messi. What's going on?
maybe next summer. Maybe next summer.
Maybe.
Emily Jennings. What a couple signings and two center back will be. Yep, love from the home of Delhi, Milton Keynes. Oh yeah, and Spurs will be playing Milton Keynes soon in a preseason match. Tyler442, thanks for watching. All right, let's move on. That's enough about the new goalkeeper Gollini. Like we've said, one for the future. Hopefully, we'll see some good stuff from him this season. And yeah, um, obviously, this is the big news. This is what everybody wants to talk about. Romero, Cristian Romero, center back, Atalanta. Tottenham Hotspur currently in negotiations with him. The personal terms are agreed. So that's already done. He wants to come. He's pushing for a move. And Fabrizio Romano via Twitter today was saying that the personal terms are agreed, and we're discussing over a 55 million euro price tag, including add-ons. I don't think there will be much of an opportunity for a swap deal here. I don't think they're really interested in Davinson Sanchez. Um, but yeah, I mean, 55 million. That's a pretty big fee.
Yeah.
Um, so what do you think the chances are of this getting over the line?
I think the chances are very, very good. I think next season the back line is gonna be very, very strong. We're gonna get to the rest of the players that can be in that back line in a little bit. But when it comes to Romero, I really, really love how he plays. He's that type of energetic player. I would have loved Toby to play there because the prime Toby, not the Toby that we have right now. And what happened to Toby is another
Yeah,
topic. Because you have those players with the ability, and then one with like that energy, like that type of partnership back when the Man United were winning the league. I think it was Robbie Keane, no Roy Keane, and another guy I forgot his name. That he had the ability, and Roy Keane was obviously that
Phil
dog like
Neville.
type defender.
Yeah,
But I think he's very, very good. I think he won the best player in the Serie, best defender in the Serie A. That's not an
yeah,
easy title to claim. The Serie A is the best defensive league in the world. You know how
Mhm.
hard that is to understand. Like we're being linked to them and strongly linked as well. So I honestly think that this one is phenomenal. And if when it does get signed, because I do think it is, I think we've heard the here we go. Um, but I think when it happens, it will be fantastic, and I next season is going to want to very much look forward to.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I think this is brilliant. I am so excited for him. I am
Yeah,
so excited to see this player in a Spurs shirt. So, we got a celebrity in the comments here. We got Matt Hayes. Coys, thank you so much for tuning in, my man. I really appreciate it. I hopped on for a while.
yeah,
Thank you. I hopped onto the preseason watch along the other day against Colchester on Matt Hayes' channel, and that was a great time. Thank you so much for having me on, Matt, and thanks so much for popping in. I really appreciate it. Look, see, even the big boys like Matt Hayes coming in to support little old me and the Yid kid, and
big
I
up
love it.
Bahis.
I love it. Big up. Um, so we got some other people in the comments here. Tyler442 says Romero move is risky. We need a solid defender like Kounde or Skriniar. Romero reminds me of Vlad Chiriches. Honestly, I was kind of a fan of Vlad Chiriches. I know that might be controversial for some people, but I really liked him as a player. But you know, I love this because celebrity says to him, always. Oh, that's so nice for Matt Hayes there. But on
Legend.
Romero, I love this kind of defender. I think this is exactly what we need, and this is really what um, the kind of defender that Nuno would like to have. I think if we're going to play out of a 3-4-3, which is looking increasingly likely based on some of the personnel that we're trying to get, he is the perfect person to come in and play in the central role in the center of that three-man back line, and he can step forward and press and be aggressive, step up into midfield, at times almost playing like a central defensive midfielder, and just attack the ball. And that's what I want. I want a player like that. I want, as David the Irish Hotspur called him earlier on Matt Hayes' channel, a dog, just an absolute animal, a guy who loves to defend, a guy who loves to fight, a guy who loves to put in crunching tackles and make the opposition feel it. That's what I love. That's what we need. Spurs. I mean, you go back to the lads at Tottenham. You go back to all that. We're often labeled with being the team with the soft underbelly, the
Spurs
team that's
DNA.
yeah, that's Spurs DNA, the team that doesn't want to scrape and fight, and that's what we need and who we need to become as a club.
And
This is. Go ahead.
yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah, and not to mention he's Argentinian, so he's got that much in the blood.
Exactly. And Yid Kid knows this. Some of you guys may know this. I love Argentinian players. I love Argentinian football. I loved Mauricio Pochettino. I love Giovanni Lo Celso. I'm a Messi fan. So yeah, I mean, I think this is all great. So so we've got some news coming in. I'm just gonna put the screen up real quick here. Go here. Yeah, so here's from the Spurs web breaking right now. Cristian Romero has his suitcase ready and will go to Tottenham. 42 million plus 10 million in bonuses for the defender. Atalanta will now go sign Mary Demiral to replace. So, I mean, it looks like it's happening. It looks like it's happening, and I for one am really excited about it.
I feel like that scene from The Office. That's like everybody calm down. I can't believe it's happening.
Yeah,
Everybody calm
it's
down.
happening. It's happening. Yeah, I mean it's great. So I'm just gonna check here. So I'm not seeing anything else from Romano yet. So we'll see if he drops the here we go.
I feel like when Bale was about to sign that I kept going to Twitter and refreshing the page, refreshing
Oh
the page.
yeah, they announced it on my birthday actually, September
I know,
19th of
and that's why
last
your
month's
profile
season.
picture has the picture of Bale's jersey.
Exactly. So that was the greatest thing ever. Like the day before, I had gone on a trip to visit some friends. I was refreshing, and then next morning I wake up. It's my birthday, and bam, Bale is back. I almost cried, man. That was a big deal. So let's see what else we got here. Some in the comments. Lamella, he epitomizes fight and love for the badge. I miss him. Yeah, look, I will probably miss Lamella eventually. Do I miss him right now? No.
No.
I'm glad he's gone. Get out. It's been too long. I'm sorry, dude. 8 years, what, like 16, 17 goals? It's just not good enough. He never
Bill's
finished a full
Bill
season.
Bill scored more goals in that one season that he came back than Lamella in like 5 seasons.
Yeah, it's just we bought Lamella was, kind of supposed to replace Bale, and he certainly didn't. We had to bring Bale back to replace Bale, and and then Bale leaves again, and who knows, maybe with Bryan Gil we might actually have our Bale replacement. But yeah, Lamella, glad he's gone. Thank you for your service. Even though it was not nearly enough service to justify how much you were getting paid. But Matt Hayes says, I was live for 7 hours on the Friday waiting for the bail announcement. It happened on Saturday when I was in work.
Jesus.
Wow, that's
7 hours.
disappointing.
7 hours stream.
7 hours is a long time to go live. That's crazy. But hey, this is what you get from Matt Hayes. He's one of the most dedicated, one of the best in the business. So yeah, I'm looking here and I don't see anything else right now. Here we go, but it looks like it's very close on Romero, and I would love to see him playing in the central part of that back three. And again, we might be seeing kind of more of a hybrid system where he plays more as a like central defensive midfielder when we're defending. He pushes a little higher up, and then he'll drop in between the other two center backs to play a back three in possession. That's something that we've seen Nuno used before and other managers used before. That kind of Pochettino used to do the same thing with Eric Dyer. Eric Dyer was playing in a central defensive midfield role, but he would slot into the back three when we were in possession to provide cover against the counterattack. And that could be the kind of way that we would see Romero being used in this situation at Spurs. What do you think about that? What do you think about like the kind of positional use of Romero under Nuno?
I think that it's gonna be that he's gonna be that type of player in the middle. If we either play a back three or if we play a back two, he's gonna be the player that's gonna be more aggressive either in the back two or the two center backs, or if we play three center backs, he's gonna be the one in the middle of the three. So when it comes to him, I love his energy, I love his passion, I love his aggression. And I honestly think that he's gonna be one of the best signings that Tottenham have ever done for like a long, long, long time. I'm very excited to see him playing, and he's gonna be very, very beneficial to the squad. Looking forward to see how many shirts he can pull next season.
Oh yeah, I want to see some. I want to see some pulled shirts. I want to see a couple guys limping off the pitch at halftime.
But not like
Full
Lamella.
Time.
Not like
No,
Lamella. Like
no, not
smart,
like
smart.
Melo.
Just smart. It's
You know,
smart.
you know
Smart.
what's yeah. Hey, look, as a defender, you gotta take a yellow every now and then. But
Yeah.
yeah, Lamella. I don't think we'll see the same level of shithousery we saw with Lamella. I don't think any other player is really capable of it. Lamella, as I saw somebody call him, was the Prince of Darkness. He's a master of the dark arts. But yeah, we will get that toughness and that aggression out of Romero, and I'm really excited. I think he could be a real leader in this back line. He's only 23, but I think in time he will become a critical part of this team. And I think that he could be our next Jan Vertonghen, just a real talisman on the back line. I would love that. So moving on from Romero, there's news on Jules Kounde, and that's that we're back in for him.
And we're
So
highly back into it for them. And he actually is
yeah,
interested in coming. If
well,
Barcelona Madrid doesn't go in for him.
exactly. So just a little recap here. So this was a few weeks ago. So we have Tottenham have reached an agreement with Sevilla for Jules Kounde. Offer was 30 million per Davinson Sanchez. The deal was then agreed with Sevilla, but the problem was Kounde wasn't interested. He wanted to wait to see if a bigger club, Madrid or Barcelona, would come in for him. It doesn't look like, even though Ramos has left Madrid for PSG, it doesn't look like Real Madrid are particularly interested in purchasing a new center back, and we are all
Barcelona's bankrupt.
yeah, we are all very aware of the absolute mess that is happening in Catalonia with Barcelona's financial situation. Um, so this was around the same time Fabrizio had said they were open to sell, but he prefers to wait. So we went over that. Then this was Matt Hayes yesterday. It is my understanding that Tottenham have submitted an official offer for Jules Kounde. The bid is worth 50 million plus 5 million in add-ons and Davinson Sanchez. So it looks like we've had to up the offer with Sevilla, which is kind of strange because they had agreed to the previous terms, but I don't know if it has to do with the timing, if they've had more inquiries into Kounde from other clubs. But what do you think about this, you kid? What do you think about that price? Would you take it?
Man, what Kunde has an extent, right? Because there's a point where Kunde, well, the things that Kunde has said about Tottenham, that he doesn't want to come, we're the tier 2 squad. I think that's a little bit out of order.
Mm,
But if he comes, 100%, I'll definitely be looking forward to it, because that man is just one of the best center backs, probably right now, one of the best center backs in the world. I honestly think that he's gonna be the next Virgil van Dijk, right? And I
wow.
I think he's just phenomenal. I think he's also a very attacking center back. He's scored a few goals,
Yeah.
and absolute screamers of goals.
Yeah.
I remember there was one against Barcelona where he dribbled like past 10 players. I remember in my head I was thinking about Sun versus Burnley, but yeah, I'm very very excited if this one happens. And not to mention, if we do sell Kunde, we're letting go Deadwood, Davison Sanchez. He's
Yeah.
leaving, like that's him leaving.
That's the
So
best part of the deal, I think.
yeah, that's like that. We should be trying. Like that's 2 in 1. That's a 2 in 1 right there. Buy one get one free. You know that's a phenomenal deal, man. I'm very very excited for Kunde, and I'm very excited to see Davison Sanchez leave, because what he and Eric Dyer's the next one that needs to open the door. Look, that's the door. Get out. Um, I'm very excited to see Kunde though. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I'm excited. I think the deal, if these figures are correct, I think the deal it's a fair price, and I think it's one that is beneficial for both clubs involved in the transfer. Kunde is an exciting prospect. I don't want to sound like I don't want to let my inner Jose Mourinho out too much here, but he's a little short for a center back. And I know everybody, always goes to certain players that have been able to do it, but like, I don't know. I mean, this is the Premier League, and if we're playing in a back three, I don't think that's a huge problem. Um, and I'm sure he has the athleticism to get up and challenge, but we've just let in so many goals from set pieces over the last couple seasons, and it does worry me bringing in and spending this much money on a center back that is, under 6 feet tall. Hopefully, he does have the aerial ability to get up there and challenge for those balls. But yeah, he's great with the ball at his feet. Very skilled technical player. Um, like you said, he can attack, he can score goals, headers, he can, some wicked shots for a center back. And I think that's also going to be part of Nuno's system, especially if we're playing out of a 3-4-3, is we're going to see a lot more fluidity, and we're going to see our center backs try to step up and have a go at some long shots. I think
Yeah,
we'll see more shots from outside the box in general in this team, which I think is so necessary. It can't
yeah,
be that Kane and Son are the only two guys willing to take a shot outside the box. Especially when we're playing against lower tier opposition, we struggle to sometimes break them down when they're parking the bus and we've got all the ball, and we're just sending in useless cross after useless cross, looking like Arsenal under Arteta, just cross and cross and cross, even if
yeah,
nothing happens. So I think we'll see a lot more risks being taken and a lot more attempts from even defenders, and I think that when you bring in a guy like Kounde, that's how you really take advantage of that tactic. He's a dynamic player, and listen, if we get him and Romero, wow, watch out, man. Our defense is going to be rock solid next season.
And Kieran, what you said about the size and him being able to header in the air, think of it as Lucas Moura.
Yeah,
Lucas Moura is the smallest guy on the pitch, and he gets at every single header. Then you
yeah,
have Eric Dyer, and then you have Eric Dyer, the size of a giant, right? Hercules, and then he can't even header the ball that's here to his head.
can't get off the ground. Yeah,
Yeah, like he's looking around. How do I turn around? I can't move my feet. My feet are stuck to the ground. Oh,
yeah. It's
like
I swear the man's got lead blocks in his boots or something. He cannot get off the ground. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's true. If he has the ups, as they say, if he has the jumping ability, he can attack those
Zags.
balls. Yeah. Hopefully he can do it. I think the thing is, if you have a chance at a guy like this who's so well regarded, so heralded to be the next, world class center back, if you have a chance, you got to take it. And especially if you can move on a piece of deadwood in the form of Davinson Sanchez, that's just, you know, not worked out. He was a record transfer fee at the time, and it's not working. It's not working for him. It's not working for us. Honestly, I wish him the best because he's never caused any problems in the time he's been here. Um, it's just not worked out, and he's maybe not the best fit for the Premier League, and that's okay. I don't hate Davinson Sanchez. I have nothing against him personally. But and I wish him the best in the future. But so hopefully this can happen, and we can get a world class defender, and he can have a move that will really be good for his career.
Yeah, and I think you have Sevilla will definitely fit him. Another thing, as you said, nothing with these players that I say is personal at all. I never say anything personal. Like Daniel Levy, as much as I hate the way that he deals with the footballing perspective, I bet he's a phenomenal guy. I bet he's the nicest guy in the world. But
No.
nice footballing perspective. But other than that, I think he could be a good guy. Same thing with Eric Dyer. He could be a good guy as well. He even wanted to put his ashes in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, like
Ah,
that.
yeah, but I
But
hated that. I hated when he came out and
we've
said
been
that.
cursed enough, man. We've been cursed enough.
Yeah, exactly. I'm with David the Irish Hotspur on that one, man. I just when he came out and said that, I was just like, "Are you kidding me, dude? Like, what do you think gives you the right? You haven't been performing, so how are you gonna come out?" I don't know. Eric Dyer infuriates me. If there's anybody it might actually be a little personal with for me, it might. No, I take that back. No, no, just the football. We stick to the football
Yeah,
here.
but when it
Um,
comes, like, can Phil Jones just say he wants his ashes to be in the on Old Trafford? Can he just
yeah,
say?
exactly. It's ridiculous. Um, so that's Kunde. Hopefully it happens. Keep our fingers crossed. We'll keep our finger on the pulse for any news, and really for the breaking news. You guys know where to go, and you guys got to go check out Matt Hayes'
Yeah,
channel for all the breaking news. So next, I think we're gonna talk about Tomiyasu a little bit. I mean, so there hasn't been much news except for the fact that he's been injured while playing at the Olympics with Japan. Do you think that puts a damper on the deal? Or do you think it's less
no,
likely to happen because of this?
no. I think there's the deal's gonna be silent for the next few days.
Mm,
However, I do think it's gonna happen after the Olympics. I think they want to see how he performs in the Olympics. If he has a good Olympics, we'll sign him. If not, I don't think we will. Or if we do, it will be for a very low price. Levy's always gonna want to take some cash out of the deal. But when it comes to him, I want him because we need a right back, right? Desperately, we
yeah,
need a right back. A lot of people are saying that he's gonna play left center back. I honestly think he's gonna play right back. And I'd be interesting to see if Doherty will play because when we signed Nuno, we was to see how Doherty would do. Well, one of the things that I was saying was positive out of
yeah,
it was that we'd see Doherty back at his best. But I guess if we're not going to even play three at the back, he's not going to be able to play the right wing back. I think we're even going to sell Doherty after. But honestly, I think I want Tomiyasu. What I've seen of him is fantastic. I don't know if you've read this stat, but in the Serie A, in the world of football, he is first for going up and pressing and winning the ball.
yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
phenomenal stat. And since he's the right back, he's actually going to be pressing more than a center back. So that's why I
Mm.
want to see him play right back. But I'd honestly be very, very much looking forward to him playing next season if he comes to Tottenham, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's tough to see exactly where he'll fit because, I mean, like you said, he played in right back and a back four for Bologna last season in Serie A, but he's also a center back and he's also ambidextrous, which means like he could be very useful for us as a left-sided center back and a back four or back three as well. So it's really hard to see where he'll play. I mean, maybe he'll move around a lot. I don't know how much I like that idea simply because you know there's the whole th- there's the whole thing of if a player is moving from position to position, how much are they really able to perfect playing in one position?
I
It's
think
great to be a utility player, but it's more beneficial to us to have a player who can lock down one position and perform consistently.
I think if we do sign Tomiyasu, it will be for a center back. If I'm being completely honest, I want him as a
Yeah.
right back. But if we do sign him, I think he's going to be a center back. I think Doherty is going to be end up being the right back because of what Nuno wants. And he's probably going to bring him back to the top level that he was in Wolves. Which was one of the reasons why I was excited about Nuno. But I think he's going to end up being like a substitution for either Romero or um, Romero or Kounde, or if we do sign him. But other than that, Joe Rodon's another one in the center back position that could be that I'm very much looking forward to. He's been one for the future as well. So I'm very much. I mean, last season we were looking at our back line, and it was the worst, most issue. Now we're looking at our back line, and we're starting to get excited about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. It's the ups and downs of being a Spurs fan, and also it's the magic of the transfer window, right? So much can change in such a short time, and I mean, you got to give credit to Fabio Paratici, Don Fabio, for just putting the work in and just getting all this stuff moving, and it's so nice to see after years of the Levy and Hitchin dynamic duo. It's
I
so
think
good to see a real professional in here doing his job.
I think I'm gonna put Paratici on the back of my jersey for next season.
Honestly, he deserves it. Listen. If we go out and win a trophy this season after he's built this team, if we win, the FA Cup, or
If it's
if
a
we win,
conference league, then I wouldn't look too much into it.
yeah,
But
no. But if we win the FA Cup or we win the Premier League this season, then build a statue of that man outside the training ground, please. All right, so moving on from
mm,
Tomiyasu, we'll see what happens there. I think I think this injury could at least, I think it'll at least extend the negotiations because I'm sure Spurs will try to get a better price because Bologna before is pushing for a higher price. So hopefully we can get a better price out of it because of the injury. But we do have a here we go, the second confirmed signing, which is Bryan Gil from Sevilla and Lamella going that way, and Sevilla also receiving 25 million euros as part of the deal. So, I mean, Lamella out the door. You and I are both happy about that. We know that.
definitely.
What are your feelings on Bryan Gil?
The little Cruyff is my
Little
feeling.
little Cruyff?
And I love the way that his hair moves. It brings back memories to Luka Modric. But
Yeah,
well, I honestly am so excited. This is one of the most. Look, I said that Romero, it was one of our best innings, but in the terms of flair and in terms of attacking, I think Bryan Gil is going to be the next big star in the Tottenham Hotspur jersey. And it's already here we go. And the other thing is with Lamella. I made a joke. It's like that 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 bad guy in all the cartoons, and then when the cartoon that everybody hates, and then when the cartoon gets canceled, everybody loves him.
yeah,
Um, I honestly think that when it comes to Eric Lamella, the energy he puts in is phenomenal, but he just doesn't have the skills. He doesn't have the talent. Now we're bringing in somebody that has the talent and is gonna probably be one of the top goals. He's gonna give you like the one in the top goals when you look at the end of the season and you look at who scored the most goals. I honestly think Bryan Gil's gonna be up there. Not maybe the top, Obviously, if Harry Kane stays, I think he'll be the top. But I think he's gonna be a huge improvement, and he's not gonna be one of those signings that you look at like it's a good signing, but do you really need him? This one, yes, we needed.
So how much do you think Bryan Gil actually plays for Spurs this season? How many games do you see him getting? Do you see him starting a lot? Do
I
you see
see
him
him.
being used as a sub?
I think because he's played in the left side, but I think I've heard Nuno Espirito Santos in the I've heard a few things that Nuno Espirito Santos is planning on playing on the right. So that's something that really interests me, and I think he will start ahead of Steven Bergwijn, and I'm very interested to see him playing. I mean, I've watched a little bit of his compilations of him playing, and the way he dribbles, the way he touches the ball, the way that it's just so smooth and so like the type of dribbling that you'd love to see from from an attacker. And I'm very much looking forward to him, Little Cruyff as everybody calls him. Very much, I really much think he plays like Johan Cruyff. Maybe we'll name our stadium the Bryan Gil Arena, but
I mean,
yeah,
hey, I would love it if he ends up being a player of that level. I
mhm.
think, I think we love to get carried away with hyping players up and stuff, and it's great. It's good to have that excitement. From what I've seen of him, I think you just got a little feedback there from your mic. Just went ahead and adjusted it. Let's see
I
if you
think I'm
had
good
just
now.
okay. Yeah, that's better. Okay. All right. Yeah. So I mean, hopefully he comes in and can rise to that level. I think from what I've seen of him, his technical ability, his ability on the ball as a dribbler is just absolutely incredible. I mean, he can get past almost any defender. It's really awesome the kind of tight, close control he has. Um, and mostly when he was on loan last season at LJ, what you mostly saw from him was just getting by players and getting to the end line, and then crossing the ball back in. But this is what I've said as well. I know some people have said, "Oh, he's a left winger. He's always played on the left. We need a right winger." First of all, in the modern game, as a winger, you should be able to play on both sides. In my opinion, you should be able to play. Even if you're a pretty one-footed, player, you should be able to at least be serviceable on both sides of the pitch. Um, and the thing is, he's not. He's not an extremely one-footed player. He's got a pretty strong right foot as well. So I think he would be perfect to put on the right-hand side and use as an inverted winger. It's kind of the way just as a mirror reflection of the way Sonny plays, which is similar to how we used Bale last season. Both wingers just cutting inside and
And
shooting
Bergwijn.
on their preferred foot. Yeah, exactly. And I think playing heel as a right-sided inverted winger allows Bergwijn to be used mainly as a substitute for Son on the left-hand side, which is
Yeah,
Bergwijn's preferred side. And I think if we do that instead of like basically using him as a right wing back like Mourinho did last season, I think we get more out of Bergwijn. We don't have to get as many minutes out of Son. He can be subbed off more often, get more rest. And then on the right hand side, we have Heel and Lucas to provide that attacking threat on the right.
yeah, Kieran. Like when you have a winger, right? He crosses quite a lot, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
think he's left-footed, and he plays
Mm-hmm.
on the left side. That means that's actually a positive because now he can cut it and shoot with his left foot on the right side.
Exactly.
And then that's how I look at it because honestly, I'm a left winger to cut it and shoot, but I also get played on the right wing, so I can cross in some balls. That's just the that's what a winger is. I honestly don't think if you're a left winger, you can play on the right, and you're a right winger, you can play on the left. I honestly wish he would have been a normal right winger, or right winger is his normal position. But honestly, I mean, now he's gonna be able to score more goals for himself, and I'm pretty sure that his foot is not that bad because I've seen him play.
Absolutely. And the thing I always push people to remember is that Gareth Bale started out at Spurs as a left back, right? And he was pushed up to be a left mid and eventually a left wing. And then Harry Redknapp made the decision to switch Bale onto the right-hand side so he could do exactly that, shoot on his preferred foot. And at the time, Spurs fans didn't like it. They had a song they sang at him, Gareth Bale, Gareth Bale. He plays on the left, you know. But what happened when he switched to the right? He became one of the best players in world football. You know, so this is what I'm saying. I don't think you should get too caught up in that. And especially, I mean, I would entertain that argument if he was coming in as a 28-year-old or something like that. He's been playing left wing and only left wing for years, but he's 20 years old. He's got plenty
Exactly.
of room to mature, to grow, to add elements to his game. So yeah, I definitely don't think that's something people should focus too much on.
Yeah.
All right, so that goes for that section of like the kind of individual
Mm.
players, the transfer rumors. So this is a here
Kieran,
we go. So this is a
Kieran,
done deal. We'll see him after the Olympics at
yeah, and
yep,
Kieran, I think something happened with Eric Dyer, because you look at sports trending, Dyer, no, like go down, Dyer
yeah.
there. I think did something happen with him?
All
Is he
right,
being linked to a club?
let's see. We'll just live.
Fingers crossed. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and this is what I said. So you hear the Spurs express Alderweireld and Sanchez move on. Eric Dyer will be saying it. This is what I said at the beginning of the transfer window: is that if anybody moves, Sanchez is the most likely out of the center backs, and then I said Dyer will likely stay because if you remember, he was handed a 3-year contract extension last season. It's not going to be easy to move him. Everybody in the world saw how poor he was last season. He's not a natural center back. He's too slow to be a central defensive midfielder. He's too slow to be a right back. Honestly, I don't know what Eric Dyer's future is in football at all, let alone in the Premier League, and certainly not as a center back for Tottenham Hotspur or any other
I,
Premier League club. So
I know exactly what happened. He walked into Nuno Espirito Santo's office, said, Oi, tudo bem, which is, how are you in Portuguese?
yeah,
And then now he's going to be the starting center back for Tottenham Hotspur. Woohoo. Oh,
yeah,
man.
I don't think he's going to start. I think he'll be a bench option. I don't think he'll get a lot of game in the cups, but
Sadly.
yeah, sadly, I don't think he'll be a starter though. At least I seriously hope not. Um, but hey, we got Gogama in the comments. Hi, Gogama. Thank you for coming to watch. I appreciate it. Um, so yeah, I think Dyer's staying. I just think
Yeah.
he just got that 3-year extension. His value is at rock bottom. It's going to be really, really hard to move him on. But hopefully he won't play too much of a advanced role in the team. So what I wanted to get into a little bit is like a kind of bit of a predicted lineup if some of these transfers go through. So the only ones I've added are ones that are currently rumored, right? So nothing that only the ones that have heavy links. And so what we have here is we've got a 3-4-3 formation, and this is kind of how I see it shaking out with the players we're currently linked to. So, Son, Kane, Lucas at the top. Bergvine, like I said, will be able to back up Son on his preferred left-hand side. Scarlett, is looks like the backup to Kane at the moment. We'll have to see if we end up going in for another striker. I'm not
Danny.
sure. Yeah, I think we should, but I'm not seeing a lot of credible links right now. But remember, Son can also play up top if he needs to, and Lucas as well. And then Lucas and Heel off the right hand side. Then you've got your two central midfielders. You got Højbjerg with Skip backing him up, and Ndovelle with Lo Celso, which I really like this. Just having this midfield pairing here, and then having kind of a like for like sub option with Lo Celso and Skip backing up these two. And you can mix and match that for various games. I think that's those four players rotating them throughout the midfield is going to give us, I think, a lot of promise, a lot of utility out of our midfield next season.
Yeah, I think I'm screen sharing through StreamYard my predicted lineup. But I think this is a very interesting one. To be honest, I don't think we're gonna play a back three anymore. But I do think that Tomiyasu will be a Tottenham Hotspur player, and I think he'll end up being a substitute to to either a center back position or a right back position. But that's a good thing about him. He's versatile. I think Reguilon is going to be the left back as you said. Hopefully Skip gets some game time so Hoiberg doesn't get overplayed like he did last season, and then Nobele and Lascelles. So completely agree with you there. I don't think if Gil ends up playing in the right hand side, I don't think Lucas will play over him. I think there's more chance that Lucas will play in the middle.
Hmm.
Because I think he's gonna be a huge part of next season. I don't know if you've watched, if you've paid attention to the times that he's got the ball in the middle a few times in the game.
Yeah.
Those one touch passes that he does, those bam one touch passes. It starts a whole play and it revolutionizes the whole play that's and what's going on in the team. So I think he's gonna
Yeah.
be a part of Tottenham Hotspur next season, but not in the right hand side. I think he's gonna be a midfielder, through the middle, playing one touch balls to either Kane or Son, and hopefully they could put it in the back of the net most of the time.
Well, see, and that's the thing about this formation, the 3-4-3. Why I like this and why I think it makes sense is because you take the last game against Colchester, and I think in that game you saw a lot of glimpses of stuff that Nuno would like to do, and so we were essentially lined up in a 4-3-3, right, a flat 4-3-3. So you basically push this here. You have three flat midfielders and then a four at the back, and then this front three. What you saw from Lucas, who was playing in that right wing position against Colchester, is that when we got on the ball, he would immediately drop inside. He would immediately drop inside, so you, into this area, into that number 10 area, to link up play and in transition. And I think that's going to be his role. I think in defense, he'll mostly stay out on the right wing, press up against the fullback, and then once we get the ball, he comes inside and contributes to the buildup of the attack that way. Um, so I think he'll kind of be playing almost like a hybrid right wing number 10 role. And then when you bring in Heel, you can change that up to where Heel's playing more of a straightforward inverted right wing. I think that basically the instructions will differ based on who's in that position, who's on the field. Um,
Mm.
bold claim to say that you think Hill will start over Lucas because I think that he's still only 20 years old and he doesn't have any experience in the Premier League yet. And I think Lucas has been looking really good in preseason, so I think he holds down that spot. Um, a couple of other things, real quick. So this is honestly how I would see the center backs lining up if we got all three of these guys across the line. If we play a back three, I would see Romero in the center, Kounde on the right, and Tomiyasu on the left. I think that's very likely that we see it like right there, kind of like this, with your fullbacks, Regulon, Sesnio on the left, and right now, I mean, right wing back, we've got Doherty, and then we've got the young kid who's been playing there. Pescozzi has been playing it right back in the preseason games. I think Serge Aurier will
Yeah,
definitely be gone before the end of the window. I think it's only a matter of time. He's been linked with AC Milan. I did, regardless whether he's gone or not. I didn't want to even include him. He's probably the only player where I might actually have something personal against, simply because he walked out of halftime, walked out of the stadium at halftime against that game in that game against Liverpool, and that for me is just unforgivable. Um, so, but I think regardless, I think he'll be moved on by the end of the window.
yeah.
Um, so what we're gonna do now is bring up yours and kind of compare and see how we differ. So first thing is here is that you've decided to go with more of a 4-3-3 with a holding midfielder being
Yeah.
Højbjerg. And you said Skriniar on yours. That's pretty interesting.
It's because I did it later. If not, I would have put a Kunde. So
Yeah,
just imagine that Kunde is there instead of Skriniar.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so those two in a central pairing, Doherty on the right, Regan on the left. Do you have any worries about Doherty continue to play right back in a straight back four after how he performed last season?
I think what's gonna happen is Hoiberg is gonna play more to the right bottom side because I think Nuno is gonna allow Doherty to be free. He's gonna open the cage He's gonna open the door to the cage, be free, fly away, and he's gonna do all that great stuff that we saw him do at Wolves. Surgery is headed. Definitely, he deserves to go there. But Doherty, I mean, I would think he's gonna play. I think when it comes to Lucas, is I think he's gonna be there to play those one-touch balls, and then Højbjerg will drop to fill in even lower than Doherty. I think he's gonna play, and then Reguilon, obviously. Reguilon is just that type of player that his crosses are absolutely phenomenal. I think he's better at attacking than defending at
Hmm.
in a certain extent.
Absolutely, yeah.
But in Ndombele, obviously, I think no lineup for next season can say that Ndombele will be dropped. I haven't seen a single lineup that says Ndombele will be dropped. And then Bryan Gil, I think, will play on the right hand side, Son, and then if he stays, please stay, Harry Kane.
Yeah. So, how do you see Giovanni Lo Celso fitting into this? Would it be in one of those two advanced midfielder positions, in instead of Ndombele or Lucas?
I think obviously in Ndombele, we all know with all the talent that he has, he can't last 90 minutes. So
Mm.
at one point, he's gonna have to be subbed off, and I think that's gonna end up being for Giovanni Lo Celso. That's why I think Lo Celso will stick into the squad. So I think that's how it's gonna play out. But hopefully, Ndombele can fix up his physical state of the game, because that's pretty much he needs to just put down the burger and pick up the weights and start weightlifting, because that man cannot last more than 60 minutes on a pitch without falling down and fainting.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he kind of looks like me out there because he just gets out there and he's just struggling and he's getting winded and heaving and that's what I would be like if I was trying to go out in a full 11-11. I'd probably get 30 minutes in. I'd look about the same as Ndombele looks at halftime of a Premier League match. So yeah, hopefully he stay. Obviously he hasn't been involved in either of the preseason games so far this season. So hopefully he's staying back at Hotspur Way and he's getting that extra fitness training in because you're right. I mean, he could both seasons he's been here so far, he hasn't been able to be consistently used enough and he hasn't been able to last a full 90 minutes and that's just not good enough, especially for our record signing. So he's got to be able to get to the end of these games without being gassed. We can't have to have him basically in the squad set to be the first sub every time because that really limits the manager's ability to plan his substitutions and adjust and change his ideas on his substitutions with the flow of the game. It hurts us tactically when we know that come 65th minute and Dombele is going to have to come off. So that's just not going to work. Jacqueline Smith says, "Hey to Spurs Sick and you kid. It's a friend of mine. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Jackie." Um, Gogo, I agree. His attacking runs kind of reminded me of Marcelo at times, talking about Reguilon. Yeah, Reguilon. He's definitely a very attacking left back. And this is again why I really want to see us play in a back three. I know we haven't shown it, and it very might look like a back four and then change to a back three when we're in possession. Like for example, so if we line up like this, right? I think it's very possible that in attack you have Romero and Skriniar going, you know, pushing up. You have Reguilon Doherty going real far up the pitch. Doherty tries to get in and around, overlap into the box, and Reguilon probably comes a little shorter to the edge of the box, looking to fire in crosses. And then you have Højbjerg kind of dropping back and filling in that space between Romero and Skriniar to have like a back three in possession. Because that's very similar to, you know, what Poch used to do with Eric Dyer, and when we had Danny Rose and Kyle Walker like flying up the pitch. So I think even if it lines up in a back four, I think in possession it'll be a back three.
And
So we could. Mhm.
no, you go on, go on.
Oh, I was just saying. So either way, I think that's kind of how we're gonna play it, right? We're always gonna have three back because the thing is with Reguilon and Doherty, they're both so advanced. They're so attacking in the way they play that we really cannot just have two center backs and rely on them to get back and cover. And Højbjerg, you know, is absolutely capable of slotting in and defending. In kind of a back three when we're in possession.
Yeah,
So that's the thing. Whether we come out in a straight back three or we come out in a back four, I think we're still going to see a little bit of that kind of back three in possession,
yeah,
because we can't rely on these two. Last season showed it to us. We can't rely on these two to get all the way up the pitch and then track back.
yeah,
It's a little too much, and we're going to
yeah.
run them ragged.
The next comment is fantastic. I don't know if you've read it
Yeah. Hit the like
yet.
button if you want Yid Kid to be the next president of the USA. Yeah, please. I really appreciate it. If you're watching, you like the show so far, you can go and check out some of our previous streams. Is this the third time you've been on Yid Kid? I think it's the third time.
I think it's actually the the third, yeah, because I came
The
on when Eugene and Brian came on, and then I did a preview for the Lane Oren game, and then now I'm on again.
Yeah, so Yid Kid has been a huge help to me and supporting my fledgling little YouTube channel. I really appreciate that. So definitely hit a like if you want him to be the next president of the USA. I guarantee he could be better than anybody else who would more likely get the job. So and also, please, if you don't already, please go subscribe to Yid Kid's channel and Yid Kid Live as well, so you can catch him when he's live on YouTube. Um, Yid Kid, yeah, you said you're a left winger, right?
I'm a left winger, but I usually play on the right, like Bryan Gil.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. And I've got a younger brother who's playing right now, and he's also a winger. So that's pretty cool. Yid Kid is a striker, no? Well,
Uh,
winger, but an attacker. So. Yes, flying up the pitch. Yeah, I agree, Gogama. That was one of the best parts about that Pochettino Spurs team is how just had Danny Rose and Kyle Walker, or later Kieran Trippier, just flying up the wing and putting in crosses and attacking the box and doing all sorts of stuff. And I think we'll really see that from our fullbacks. But if we're going to do that, then we either need to go to the Pochettino route, which is kind of what Yidkid has here, where we have this holding defensive midfielder, this number 6, who can drop in between the center backs to cover against the counter, or we need to set up in a back three. And I think we'll do both, either or, depending on the situation. So it's kind of cool here that between our two lineups, you get kind of two ways that Spurs could set up under Nuno Espirito Santo, and we kind of have the same general ideas, of how this team is going to play. Flying, overlapping wing backs, Lucas Moura coming inside and acting as the number 10, and Domblé playing more of or Lo Celso, depending, playing more of a number 8 role, and then of course Son on the left wing, Bryan Gil on on the right wing, and in my 11, I see Lucas is starting out on that wing, but when we get the ball coming inside and playing that number 10 role, and I think our attack will be very fluid under Nuno Espirito Santo, because that's what he likes. If you watch his Valencia team, again, I'll have to find the link and I'll drop it in the description. But again, if you guys know the Extra Inch, it's a Tottenham podcast. They do tactics analysis, and on their Patreon, they released a free video where Nathan A. Clark, the tactics guy, goes over Nuno's Valencia team, and you see there's a lot of fluidity in that front three. The wingers, the striker, the number 10, if there's a number 10, or that midfielder that's playing advanced, all kind of move around and make runs in and around each other in ways that can really confuse an opposition back line. We're going to see a lot less rigid positional play than we saw under Jose Mourinho. So, um,
yeah,
and I think that's really exciting, and I think it'll really help us in terms of breaking down those smaller teams. I don't think that under Nuno we're going to see any more 1-1 draws against Fulham. I think we're going to be much better at breaking down the tougher opposition, the lower opposition, who's going to drop down into a low block and make us find a way through. It'll really help us against teams like Burnley, for example.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, I think that just about all covers it. We've gone through the transfer news, and we've taken a look at how the tactics could look if we get some of these transfers over the line, and we just gotta hope that Papa Paratici comes through for us, the Don Fabio, that he comes through and he secures those signings, because we need them. And if we get the ones that we're rumored to, I think top four is within a shout. What do you
Definitely,
think?
I think those signings could even get us into a title race. I know my
Strong stance.
My
That's a
Spurs
strong
delusional
statement.
self, my Spurs delusional self is shining right now. But I definitely want at least top four for this team. I hopefully a title race. Definitely think we're gonna win the Conference League. I even made a chant for Paratici.
Oh, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Ugh, I'm very like when it comes to singing, I can make good songs, but I don't like singing them unless I'm in the shower.
Come on, come on.
Okay, I'll do it. I'll do it.
All right.
I forgot the words though, but I think I got them. Fabio. He signed Cristian Romero. He got Kounde. He got Bryan Gil. Paratici's at the wheel.
I like that, man. That's a good one. Hell yeah, we gotta pass that over to Ben and Sim so they can take it with them to the ground, get them singing that in the new stadium when Romero comes. So yeah, I love that. That's great. Real quick here, one last thing, a kind of late comment coming in about this stuff, but I wanted to highlight it because it is. I agree with this. Ndombele needs to be played as a 10 without defensive duties. He can provide what we have been missing since Eriksson. And I tend to agree. I think that, you saw my 3-4-3 formation that I had up on the screen. And I think that if you go back and watch that game against Sheffield United, the one where Ndombele
Yeah,
scored that ridiculous outside foot shot. Yeah, if you go back and look at that game, we played essentially a 3-4-3 or 5-2-3, however you want to look at it. And in that game, Højbjerg stayed more in the central areas, and Dombele was given the free license to just go forward and create. And he was brilliant in that game. I mean, sure, it was against Sheffield United, who were absolutely terrible. Just an absolutely atrocious football team this past season. But just giving freedom to Ndombele to just get forward, rove, move around, dance with the ball, do all those things that he does. I think I think that's exactly what he needs. He just needs the freedom and space to be able to do what he needs to do. And I think that's why he suffers in a three-man midfield, especially if he's being played as a number 8 in a three-man midfield, because he's too condensed. There's not enough space there for him to operate. He needs space to dribble and move on the ball and roam around and find those passing lanes. And I think that if you switch to a 3-4-3 type situation where you open up the midfield a little bit more and allow him to have less defensive duty, use your wing backs, use your central center back, and hopefully that will be Romero, and along with Højbjerg to really defend the center of the pitch, then I think that I just think that that gives you so much room if you're in Ndombele to get forward and create, and that's the beauty of this is with the kind of players we're bringing in, or at least we're looking at. Hopefully, we're bringing in, fingers crossed. But it gives Nuno so much freedom to
yes,
set in how he can set up this team. I think these players that we're bringing in can fit multiple systems. They give us so much variation, so much utility, and I love that. I love the way Fabio Paratici is looking to recruit for this club. And I think I'm saying it right now. It's time to get excited. It's time to get excited. Listen, we've been cynical, we've been sad, we've been Spurs sick. Like and subscribe.
no pun intended.
We've been Spurs sick for so long, I think it's time to get excited because we've got a guy in Fabio Paratici who's a experienced, seasoned director of football. He knows what he's doing. He's a football man. He's going after targets that will definitely improve this squad. And I think see Spurs challenge. And yeah, I mean, if these get through, we're definitely within a shot for top 4. And I think we definitely win the conference league hands down.
Yeah, easily.
I think it's time to be excited. Let it go, Spurs fans.
Let it
Let it go.
go.
Yeah. You need to go watch Frozen. You need to get some Elsa in your mind, in your heart, in your spirit. Feel it. Let it go. It's time to get hyped. It's time to hop on the Paratici train. Don Paratici, Don Fabio. He's going to take us to the promised land, guys. Let's go. We need some
Come on,
positivity back in this team.
come on. I
Come on.
mean, look at it though. If Man City won the Premier League last season, and you go player by player, and I honestly think we have a better team.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, if you look at the competition, Man City, they limped. I mean, their squad limped to that championship. They weren't really challenged because a lot of the other teams were so poor. But in any other season over the past 5 seasons, do you believe Manchester City wins the Premier League with that squad? I don't. Not having a dedicated striker for the entire season. You look at Chelsea; they stumbled through the first half of the season. It wasn't until they made a couple signings and then got in Tuchel to take over as the manager that they started competing. And of course, they ended it with a European Championship. I think they'll be serious contenders next year. But Man City, until they make some more moves in the transfer window, I think their fans should be worrying a little bit about their chances to repeat as champions. Liverpool, I think they have a lot of work to do. They've got an aging squad. A lot of their players over 30 years old, and Virgil van Dijk coming off a season-long injury. And I mean, you look at Manchester United, and I know people are saying, "Oh, look, they got Sancho in. They're going after Varane. They've got all these guys potentially coming in." Let me just say this right now, and I've been saying it for over 2 seasons. I'm going to continue to say it. As long as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is manager of Manchester United, they are frauds. They are frauds, and it will only be the talent of some of their individual players that will continue to allow them to finish in the Champions League places until some of these other teams add the signings necessary to compete. And I think this is the season that happens. I think that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a terrible manager when it comes to tactics and in-game tactics, substitutions, things like that. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's not up to the level, and I think he'll be exposed this season. They can sign all the players they want, spend all the money they want. They don't have a real manager, and it'll show this season.
Arteta, though, who do you think is
Oh,
more? Yeah,
Oh, we don't even have to worry about the scum, man. They are so far
relegation.
behind. They are so far behind. We make these signings, man. They are so far in the rearview
Nah,
mirror.
their competition is Brentford. They need to be looking at Brentford and oh no, we're gonna be competing with Brentford. What players are they signing? We have to compete with them. Arsenal, we've left them in the dust. Anytime I have so many people that are Manchester United fans that I talk to, they bring up any conversation to me. Look at all the players we're signing. I say two numbers, 6-1, and they shut up.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
shut up. They shut
exactly.
up. It's that simple. 6-1. They hang up the phone. They stop texting. They go offline for 3 weeks. It's that easy. You just have to say those two numbers. Those are the magic numbers, and they're out.
It's history. It's in the record books. They're gonna have to carry that with them the rest of their lives, and hopefully we can lay another 6-1 on those frauds at Old Trafford again this season. And I think if we make some of these signings, it's likely. Well,
Yeah,
thanks everybody for watching Talking Ball. Gogama Tyler, everybody, thanks for coming in. Thanks for coming in the comments. I really appreciate it. Loving all the support. And most importantly, thank you to the Yid Kid for being here. It's been great, my man. Thank you so much for coming on the stream.
anytime, anytime. Anytime you're gonna do a stream, let me know. I'll see if I because the season's gonna start. I'm gonna be probably having less time, but I'll make time as much as I can to come on this channel. Everybody, make sure you subscribe to Spursick. Absolutely amazing content, and like the stream if you've enjoyed what you've been watching.
And likewise goes for him. You got to get over to see the Yid Kid. Smash a like on the channel. Also, I like to direct other people to this other channel too, Yid Kid Live, so you can see him live when he's live. That's cool. So yeah, go smash a like and subscribe. And everybody who's still here, what are you doing? Go over. Bob Spur is live. He's got the best ever show going on right now. That's where I'm going. After this, I'm going straight over to Bob Spur TV. So get over there, go over to Bob Spurs TV. Like Gogama says, smash a like and subscribe. Thank you guys so much. And as always, come on, you Spurs!
Come on,
We got the hype train going, baby. Let's go.
Paratici.